Thank you. The deadly DuPont train derailment was a total institutional failure.
That is according to the National Transportation Safety Board, which concluded its investigation into the crash today.
Could this accident have been prevented? The answer is a resounding yes.
The report said multiple agencies are at fault for the crash that killed 3 people and injured 65 others. The train cars derailed over I-5 on the first ever passenger trip on that route, going more than twice the speed limit around a dangerous curve.
Simone Del Rosario tells us what's in that report and what's next for the victims who survived.
So we know this, the engineer never slowed down in time reaching that curve. He came going in 78 miles per hour. The speed limit was 30, but the NTSB is not blaming him. It's blaming all of the agencies that put him on that unfamiliar track, in that unfamiliar locomotive on that day.
It set up the engineer to fail.
It was a failure in training, a failure in signage, a failure when it comes to safe tracks and rail cars. First and foremost, that positive train control was not operating on the Point Defiance bypass. That system alone could have automatically slowed down that train and prevented these deaths and injuries. Sound Transit, Amtrak, WashDOT, any of these companies could have decided against starting service on this track before installing PTC. That didn't happen.
We've figured out and we know the how did this all occur, but why did it occur? Why is the federal agencies not doing proper oversight? Why are there so many players that are delegating their duties for safety to other people? Why didn't Amtrak pick up the ball and ensure the loop was closed and this was safe to operate under?
David Benninger represents some 30 victims of the crash, including one who died. So many of those injuries, though, found to come from unsafe rail cars that were essentially expired, not up to current safety standards, but they were grandfathered in with an agreement with the Federal Railroad Administration. They and Talgo, the company that makes the cars, are other parties that the NTSB investigated. And then there was training and signage.
It's all too easy to blame it on individuals, but this was an institutional problem and involved a number of institutions, Amtrak first and foremost.
So it all comes down to safety, and were enough measures in place? We know that answer is no. Did you know that this was the only sign warning the engineer that the curve was coming? One sign, 2 miles ahead of the turn, and he missed it. It was telling him to go from nearly 80 miles an hour down to 30. The NTSB found something as simple as more signage could have made a difference in this case. So since the crash and the start of this investigation, several changes have been made. PTC is installed on these tracks now, and the training programs are much more thorough. WashDOT has said they would wait until after this investigation to start using the Point Defiance bypass again. We'll, of course, be following that closely for you. As for the victims, like David Benninger's, he says they're still fighting to get their medical bills covered by these companies that are found to be at fault.
All right, Simone, thank you.